Hi, I'm Phil Turek, running for Congress. Before I present my main campaign issues, I feel compelled to talk about and address the current events taking place between the United States and Venezuela. My understanding of the history between these two nations goes like this. Venezuela was originally a very poor agrarian nation. When oil was discovered there just over 100 years ago, the United States went into Venezuela and used our expertise and technology to build up the infrastructure needed to extract oil from the ground. Venezuelan oil is heavy. That makes it hard to process in conventional refineries. The United States built specialized refineries to handle Venezuelan oil. They didn't build it in Venezuela. They built them along the Gulf Coast of the United States. So, for a long time, U.S. technology extracted oil from the ground in Venezuela. Through the companies Exxon, Shell, and Gulf Oil, that oil flowed to refineries on the Gulf Coast of the United States, along with the profits of that oil. Venezuela remained poor. After a long time, democracy died in that poor country. Authoritarians rose to power. Along the way, they nationalized the oil industry, keeping some of the oil profits in Venezuela that previously were flowing to just US oil companies. In 2002, the US government, through the National Endowment for Democracy, the NED, helped Maria Machado found a non-government organization to promote free and fair elections in Venezuela, to restore a democracy to Venezuela. Although the effort failed, she remains a potent political activist in the field. She apparently approves of the current US action of kidnapping the president of Venezuela and his wife and whisking them off to the United States. We can hope that the intentions of the United States are for the purpose of empowering democracy in Venezuela and throughout the world and within the United States. However, the ends do not justify the means. I want to draw your attention to how we intervened in Venezuela. The United States blew up boats, quite a number of them now, never once offering proof to anyone, not to the public, not even to representatives in Congress, proof of what the claims were about what those boats were actually doing and who was on board. What was the actual cargo? We don't even know where those images were shot. Were they really where the US claimed they were? Were they really heading towards the US? Congress, for a while, debated, there was a second strike on those survivors hanging onto the boat. Was that illegal? The point that they're missing is that every single boat strike was illegal. It was an extrajudicial killing in violation of international law. Not just the second tap. Every boat strike was illegal. Why was Maduro and his wife brought to the United States after they were captured? Why weren't they turned over to the legitimate government in Venezuela? Why, if the United States is so in favor of promoting democratic institutions around the world, is the funding for the National Endowment for Democracy zeroed for 2026 by Office of Management and Budget Director vote? You should be concerned about how we got to where we are today with Venezuela. The ends do not justify the means. I object to a president who behaves as if he's a petulant child. I object to adults without moral discipline. I object to power acting without constructive purposes for social progress. And I disapprove of our regime's lack of lawful behavior. Having had said that, I'm going to turn my attention now to the campaign main points that I wanted to make for myself today.